아침 식사를 제가 7시에 시작하는데 하기 전에 뉴욕타임즈 이틀분이 물려 있습니다. 짤막짤막하게 한번 읽겠습니다. Okay, December 15th, 2023. In America, authoritarian impulses. As people lose faith in institutions, they can lose faith in democracy itself. Around the world, authoritarianism is ascendant and democracy is in decline. In fact, some welcome the prospect of breaking it completely and starting anew with something different, possibly a version of a political system from a time when it was less democratic, before we expanded the pool of participants. Putin's bet in Ukraine looks more credible. New urgency grips Kyiv as U.S. balks at helping and West support the softens. Ukraine faces dwindling reserves of ammunition, personnel, and Western support. The counteroffensive it launched 6 months ago has failed. Moscow, once awash in recriminations over disastrous invasion, is celebrating its capacity to sustain a drawn-out war. 와, 이거. 어이씨. A swan song was its turning point. No ticket, no passport, but it got to America. Believed to be Russian, passenger is charged with being a stowaway. He asked for 2 meals during each meal service, and at one point attempted to eat the chocolate that belonged to members of the cabin crew. A revered pianist who began recording in the 80s. U.S. support may be secondary for Israeli leader. This is going to be his platform. I am the leader who can stand up to Biden and prevent a Palestinian state. Golden Globes snubs and surprise. The director Celine song breakthrough and the color purple is overlooked. A subway ride with no end in sight. Line 1 has been running in Berlin since 1986 and just gave its 2000th show. The naive protagonist resembled Dorothy from the Wizard of Oz, but the yellow brick road is grimy. Putin's battle on Ukraine's isolation looks stronger. Message from Moscow and Washington illustrate the growing pressure on Ukraine as it braced for a harsh winter. Britain's dangerous game of constitutional hardball. Rishi Sunak's attempt to override the Supreme Court could threaten democracy. Hardball tactics damage voters' trust in political institutions and the democracy. The $700 million question, is it worth it? In signing Shohei Ohtani, the Los Angeles Dodgers have placed a huge bet. He can hit a home run 500 feet and throw a ball 100 miles per hour. And although the Dodgers already have a lucrative local television deal, the league controls national and international media deals, including the one that allows games to be shown in Japan. The truth about sleep trackers. The technology amasses a variety of data, but it may not help you to rest. If you are not sleeping well, having this device that tells you how poorly you are sleeping might make things worse. Don't say it ever. A prejudice therapist advise you not to use when fighting with a partner. Here are their candidates, why we should avoid them and what to say instead. Resisting protection of a vital resource. Garden City, Kansas. Powerful players in U.S. forge ahead in pumping up dwindling groundwater. There's a lot of money coming into Montana that's focused on residential development right now, he said, and money talks. Money talks. a new playbook for donors seeking influence. For American universities, the money often comes with strings attached. College presidents face nonstop demand to raise funds and constant pressure to weigh in on contentious issues. Politics is all over TikTok, but politicians seed the field. A White House representative noted the rule barring the app's use on federal devices and declined to comment further. Offshore wind projects at a stall. Officials and developers in U.S. underestimated the difficulties in building. The U.S. offshore wind market is still in its infancy, and some states might have been trying to run before they could work. Now they are getting more realistic. Fed sees rising hope for dodging recession. The economic outlook appears sunnier, but it's too soon to declare a win. Red state and the blue state are like different countries. Looking at the U.S. States will give you a sense of what the future could bring if either party wins full control of the federal government. And anti-Semitism, a guide for the perplexed, accusing Jews of the crime of which they were history's greatest victim. It's a uniquely vile taunt. Vile taunt. America's thirst for authoritarianism, the idea that voting is a choice is itself an illusion. They terrorize us at night, send a message to leave the village, menaced by settlers, prohibited from repairing their buildings. Palestinians struggle to stay at home. Facing armed settlers and crowded into ever smaller spaces, people are struggling to cling to their rightful land. We are not worried about how they talk and what they say. We are worried about what they do. Bulldozed. School surprise. Cheating tool left unused. Researchers find fears of chatbot fraud in U.S. are overblown so far. There are other ways to think about AI, not simply as this uncontrollable temptation that undermines everything. An oil man strike a deal to phase out fossil fuels. Agreement reached in the past 3 decades have failed to mention fossil fuels. Record debt threatens developing countries. Surging interest rate and dwindling options for financing are blamed. The mounting debt burdens have put additional pressure on multilateral development institutions such as the World Bank to provide low-cost loans to poor countries. Many teenagers have never heard of ChatGPT. How much, if anything, have you heard about ChatGPT, an artificial intelligence program used to create the text? The race to catch up with Red Bull. Teams will spend the off-season finding ways to change the dynamic. A dominant season from start to finish. Max and Red set multiple records and won a lot in 2023. Biden's new friendship with Modi is under threat. Accusation that an Indian official sought to kill a Sikh therapist in the U.S. exposed the fragility of the relationship. Eagerness to quote India stems from the belief that it can be a democratic counterweight to China. Piecing together a black identity and a black world. An exhibition in the heart of a red U.S. state takes a good step toward collecting a shameful void in black history. Argentina's dollarization is medical thinking. What currency reform has in common with arsenic and the ship? Arab oil state had won't rebuild Gaza for free. A legitimate Palestinian partner and a commitment to negotiating a two-state solution are key. Piecing together black identity. Defeating antitrust case is a bad sign for Google. Google and Epic will return to court in the second week of January to lay out their cases for what changes Google should be forced to make to improve competition on the Play Store. Central London best big on office. Britain's financial district. The Square Mile is awash with the construction project. There is this real drive to get people to come back to the office. Next challenge, changing the way the world is. At UN Climate Summit, tiny steps toward retooling the global food system. There is a broad acknowledgement that the food agenda is aligned with the climate fight. The glory of fashion created by women. The Met's new exhibition showcased the work of many forgotten designers. A video of seamstresses bent over their machines is a reminder of all the anonymous women who found their livelihood in fashion. When Chanel came to the north of England, a temporary loop turned Manchester Street into the Métiers d'Art runway. Little Venezuela is taking root. Migrants are creating the campus of a home in a corner of New York. It always starts with one restaurant or one food cart at a time. Trump claimed speed to Supreme Court, while special counsel wants a fast ruling on the former president's immunity bid. There could also be serious consequences, however, if the trial is pushed up until after the election. Volkswagen needs Chinese engineers. The company is pursuing a new strategy to enhance production of electric cars. The really big potential is the localization, to really localize 100% of the parts in China. Grievances of a rich Harvard alumnus behind the investors' push against the institution, his personal grudges. It would have been smart for her to listen. A building block for donuts and more, whether fried or baked. Brioche dough produce an ethereal softness. Poland elect a leader of eclectic identities. Donald Tusk's victory unseat the right-wing Law and Justice Party. Russia bears staggeringly high losses, reported said. Gaza conflict widened rift between Arab rulers and citizens. Italians cheer a film against domestic violence. A beloved comedian directed the picture There's Still Tomorrow. Domestic violence, femicide, and women's rights have been hot topics since the death last month of a 22-year-old student, a milestone by playing by the book. Autistic performance star in How to Dance in Ohio, a show about autistic life. An indigenous voice undeterred by setback. After referendum failed, the future of reconciliation in Australia is uncertain. It's brought out the worst in people, which I said it's been horrible. Can discovery of Russian remains in France renew old ties? The French language is flourishing in Africa. Legal proceedings sketched differently, right back where they started from. With the publication of a book about the OC, its creators are re-energized. Not all travelers had the same way. Book review. On irrelevant history of